In this video, I answer 3 questions. How did this get started? How's it going? What would I do differently? And stay to the end because I have 5 specific tips to help you in your van travel journey. With now 4 years of ownership, having taken delivery of my 2019 Winnebago Travato 59 GL, taking delivery the first week of October 2018. Now, with 100,100 miles, it has no warranties remaining, and I've been living continuously in this van since February 2019. In addition to that, I'm going to summarize the problems I've had with the van, the modifications I've made to the van, and I hope you find this inspiring because when my journey got started, I literally had nothing. First RV, this van is. And now I have all this, and I want to share that with you to help you dream big, create your action plan, take action, and get on the road. It will change your life. It's changed mine. Let's get into it. So how did this journey get started? And as I go through this, see if any of it sounds familiar to your own personal life. In 2017, I had a big corporate job to get a big corporate paycheck to pay for that big house that was really just a giant storage unit. I really got tired of the treadmill to nowhere and wanted to do something vastly different, though I didn't really know what. I know some things I did want. I did want to travel. I did want to get out of corporate life, and I wanted to reset my entire life. Again, any of that sound familiar? Yeah, a midlife crisis for sure, my 3rd time, but this time it was more than just getting stuff like a fancy sports car. It was a fundamental shift in the way I lived, thought, and approached life. In 2018, I accidentally discovered YouTube traveling in an RV. The first video that caught my eye was the Winnebago Revel. That was a cool rig. It could take you onto mountaintops. It was tough. It was cool looking. And it really got my juices flowing. And I discovered the Russos living in their van, and they had the biggest impact on me as I created my action plan. Why? Because they quit their corporate jobs. They minimized, downsized from a Class A to a Class B. That'd be the big bus down to a van. They created a YouTube channel that created income. They worked with news organizations and other brands to create income. And I got to meet them in person in July of 2018. And I discovered that they were not actors. They were just regular people creating their dreams on the road, helping others do the same thing. I wanted to do exactly that. So what happened next was started vigorously shopping for vans. I knew why I wanted to do it. I wanted to go full-time really soon after getting the van. So I knew the floor plan and the van had to enable living out of the van. Spent over 300 hours of researching what a van chassis, what a van floor plan, and what van RV systems would mean for my why. Now, my other half, he was not super excited about this whole thing. He didn't like the idea at all. And that's okay. What we discovered is we can live separate, but be together, and each of us create our dreams and build empire. I've met many of you that have a spouse that is not interested in doing this, but you're doing it anyway. And it's actually, in some ways, strengthened your relationship, mine too. Again, after over 300 hours of researching, I landed on the Winnebago Paseo, which they only made for about a year. It was on the Ford Transit chassis. And what I discovered is, again, through the lens of full-time, it really would not meet my needs. So I landed on the Travato, also made by Winnebago, on the Ram ProMaster chassis, and the 59G floor plan, which has an upfront great room. It has a full galley. It has a Murphy-sized bed, and it has a real bathroom, all in a ProMaster 3500 21-foot van. That was a floor plan that was going to help me achieve my full-time travel dreams. After validating and shopping a bit, we ended up placing the order in June 2018 at Winnebago Motorhomes in Rockford, Illinois. First week in October, they called me, 2018. I said, hey, Scott, your van's going to be here tomorrow. Let's set up a pickup date. So 4 years from when this video is being made today, on October 14, we picked up the van 4 years ago this month, this week. You want to see that delivery video because it's pretty funny. We made them wear birthday hats. So while I had done some videos prior to picking up the van, I started in earnest making Travato videos because I really couldn't find any videos about the Travato other than dealers. And so I started making videos about, how much does the fridge hold? How much does the wardrobe? How many shirts in the wardrobe? And all kinds of crazy videos. That was really getting some attention. I was very excited by that. It only juiced me and it helped me understand that I was on the right path. In February 2019, I moved from part-time in the van to full-time living in the van. After the Super Show in Florida, in Tampa, January 2019, we went one more time to home base, and then we said adios as I moved into living from the van, traveling full-time, February 2019. So that is how things got started. I did not know what I did not know. I stepped out on a leap of faith. I got my plan. I got taking action on my plan. And this is being shot, this video, on a Friday afternoon, mid-October, beautiful Kentucky afternoon. And right over there, which you'll see in a minute, is the birthplace of our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. So I hope you're giving me a high five for all that, because that's how it got started. And you might go on like, yeah, that's cool, but what's in it for me? Well, let me tell you how it's going now. And right after that, I'm going to show you, tell you about the van trouble I've had and the modifications I've made to the van. That might help you out as well. So how's it going? Well, I'm in my third year of full-time travel. In February 2023, it's going to be 4 years full-time in the van. In September of 2021, I quit my corporate job and left corporate America probably forever. If this YouTube thing don't work out, I'm going to drive a truck because I am done with corporate life. Now, I've gone from full-time to part-time due to COVID, but in September 2021, I quit corporate life and the corporate paycheck for good. I'm now fully self-employed. I work with two amazing RV brands. That would be Embassy RV. They make highly innovative Class B RVs, no wood, no black tank, no solar in their setups. And work with an equally amazing RV brand, Volta Power Systems. They build the Pure 3 lithium system that goes in the Travato, the M-Power that goes into the Storyteller, and a bunch of other brands, including Tiffin and recently Airstream. Both of those brands pay me to do some work for them. Embassy RV for content creation, and Volta for training dealers how to use the Volta system. As far as the YouTube channel is concerned, that's 4.5 years old. I started that way before we even had the van, and we have now uploaded over 500 videos to YouTube. It's been viewed over 3 million times, those videos. I have 24,000 really loyal subscribers, which is amazing. And we're approaching nearly 100 episodes of my weekly RV show called What's Up Wednesday. It comes out every Wednesday, and we bring guests on, and it's a big community discussion on how to be better travelers in our camper vans. All that said, I'm making about $1,200 a month off of YouTube now, which is not too bad. Year over year, October to October, this being 22, made about $16,000 off of YouTube, which is pretty amazing considering I only monetized it just about 2 years ago. And we've had a big ramp lately, which I really appreciate many of you being part of. All right, so you're dying to know how the van's holding up. Well, if you haven't seen my video that I made a full tour at 93,000 miles, now at 100,100 miles, 4 years after delivery, I gotta tell you, my van, Miss Lily, as she's named, is performing admirably still. Let me tell you about a few things, because I no longer have a Winnebago warranty. That ran out about 6 months into my van journey. No Volta warranty. That ran out a couple years after that, I guess. And now I have no warranty on the Ram van itself. So I am totally on my own dime now. So it'll be fun to see where this goes from an out-of-pocket expense going forward. So let's talk about the problems. Everybody's always curious about the problems. I get it. So at about 49,000 miles, I had to replace the cylinder head on the engine. That was about a 10-day project, was zero out of pocket, was covered under warranty. I've had 2 leaks from the Max Air ceiling fan and 1 leak in the bedroom window, remedied by RV dealers, and never had a problem since. Volta installed a new inverter at 96,000 miles. While technically it wasn't covered under warranty, but because of my special relationship with them, they wanted to make sure I was able to do my work for them and just have a good experience in my van. So what I've learned from Volta is they really treat every customer with kid gloves and really follow through to a good conclusion, whatever the situation might be. At about 75,000 miles, I replaced the house water pump, not the engine, but the one that pumps water through all the sinks and toilets. I replaced the AC unit. I replaced the AC unit as an upgrade back in July of 2019 to the Coleman Mach 3 NDQ, and then I had an owner failure where I flooded out the circuit board on the system. Big long story, and we've had to replace that unit now, which is working great. And at 99,000 miles, I had to replace the Max Air fan mechanism, not the fan itself, but the mechanism that lifts the cover, because owner failure, it got so dirty that it got clogged and it broke the mechanism that opens up the cover. And at 97,000 miles, I had to replace the propane valve on the tank itself under the vehicle, which is about a $700 repair, because I had really burned out the solenoid by not turning off the propane when I'm not using it. Watch for a video on that very shortly. To save yourself $700, just turn your propane off inside the van when you're not using it. So you might be curious on how maintenance is going. Well, I change the oil pretty regularly. Every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, I use a mix of synthetic and traditional. I'm on my second set of brakes, and I'm on my third set of BF Goodrich OEM, or BF Goodrich K02 tires. Those are not what comes on the Travato, by the way. When I do the oil changes, I actually take it into a dealer every other time, if not every time, because they give the vehicle a full inspection, which I really come to enjoy. And they're pretty fast, and they're just nice to have it looked at from a dealer. Then once or twice a year, I bring it into a Winnebago dealer to have them inspect the rig for the Winnebago build-out. That's it. All right, let's talk about modifications. What have I done to this van? Probably the biggest one that's real obvious is I wrapped the van. This was a silver Ram ProMaster 3500. I've wrapped it in brown, put on some black silhouette. This was done by a firm in Florida. That was installed in May 2020, coming up on 3 years. Still looks amazing. I've lifted the van. This is why it has a very different athletic, rugged 4x4 look, even though it's a front-wheel drive Ram ProMaster. I've added tires and wheels. I've added the brush guard you saw on the front, and I've got a new ladder and spare tire holder installed. And Rover Vans, who makes that, is working on a bike rack for me, so the bike will be vertical on the back of the van and against the door, just like the tire. I cannot wait. That should be installed in late November 2022. The only other modification that I've done is I've replaced the faucet and shower with new faucet and shower. Other than that, the interior is exactly the same as the day I bought it and took delivery. And she's just been the best van and the best little space capsule, taking me around planet Earth, well, really the USA, in the style I've become so accustomed to traveling in. So to summarize that, what's the result of all that? Well, I've replaced my corporate job. Now I'm fully self-employed. I'm helping others like you either get their camper van journey going or helping them travel more comfortably in it through my full-time experience. Most people don't travel full-time in a van. I've continued to work with amazing brands. I've made some amazing friends, and even the Russos, my mentors and heroes, are now considered my friends, and we are in regular communication. And I'm actually going to park my van at their house when I fly away to Europe for a month, mid-November, well, mid-October to mid-November. And the audience angels, we continue to meet folks like you that have invited me to stay at their property, spend time with them at our campouts, vanburys as I call them. So I've got guest hosts running the What's Up Wednesday show while I'm in vacationing in Europe, just like Johnny Carson had guest hosts, Joan Rivers and Jay Leno. Pretty cool. What a great community we've built together. And I'm happy to say that the YouTube channel, Go Small, Live Large, is growing. We've done this collectively with a lot of obstacles in our way. Number one, I have not changed RVs once in 4 years. Most YouTube channels change them about every 6 to 12 months to keep the thing alive. No clickbait titles, no negative videos like 5 things I hate about, just to get the clicks. I don't have an attractive lady on my arm. I don't have a 4-legged dog running around with me. And I'm not acting. I'm just little old me, Scott, just sharing my experience, teaching you everything I know. Covering over 40 states now, I am checking off bucket list things almost weekly. And frankly, it feels like the journey has just begun. Stay tuned because I have 5 specific tips to help you with your van journey. And that leads us to, what would I do differently? Well, let's contemplate what we're looking at behind me. You climb those 56 steps, 1 step for each year of President Lincoln's life. His boyhood cabin is inside that building, on top of where the cabin was actually situated. It was pretty cool. We're gonna hit his boyhood home next, but that's his birthplace right there you're looking at. Pretty amazing. In Hodgeville, Kentucky. We'll put the map right here. All right, so let's talk about what would I do differently and what would I recommend for you. I would actually buy the same floor plan because it works perfectly for my needs. Now, sadly, Winnebago does not make the same floor plan, so I'll be buying me a used Travato GL National Park Edition probably, if I got run over by a train, well, the van did, and I wasn't in it. I would have the same goals as I did then. I'm actually setting brand new goals right now. Doing differently, what I would do is make more travel videos. I have not made many, and that is something I'm working very vigorously on. I'd be better at storytelling in the videos themselves. Now, I've invested over $14,000 so far this year, 2022, to help achieve those goals of better storytelling, better travel, more and better travel videos. Invested in better equipment, better videos, hired an editing team, and I'm looking to reduce my YouTube stress. Also, other things to change is slowing down and savor travel and van life miracles. Because I've been here so long, sometimes I kind of miss what's actually going on around me because I'm too busy on business end of things, really kind of forgetting that van travel allows you to, on a Friday afternoon, and it's behind the corner now, see the birthplace of President Lincoln. So after all that, frankly, that I'm just getting started. I'm committed to my channel, Go Small, Live Large, and more importantly, I'm committed to you to help you be a better camper van traveler, whether you don't have your van yet or you already have it. And where should you go, and how can you make that more fun and more simple? My life has been completely changed because of a ProMaster turned into a motorhome, and roaming around in it for nearly 4 years now has changed my life, and you have helped change my life too. And for that, I thank each and every one of you. You might be asking yourself why the Lincoln family ended up here to start with, and that's because of this right here. This is Sinking Spring. Abraham Lincoln probably took his first drink of water from this spring, a dependable water source. Throughout the year, it did not freeze. And this is where the Lincolns got their water for their livestock and for themselves. Pretty cool to see the water flowing, even in a very dry fall. Right there, you can collect enough water to drink from. And President Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, as a kid, probably got his first mouthful of water from that hole in the ground, basically. All right, let's talk about the bonus tips I promised you. Having changed locations, this is a replica of what the cabin might have looked like. You're now at Knob Creek. This is where Lincoln grew up. Earliest days of his memories were at this Knob Creek farm. It was about 30 acres. This building here is the Lincoln Tavern. It was established in 1933 as a place for tourists to be fed and watered. But beyond this fence line, it's largely unchanged from when Lincoln lived here from 3 to about 7 years of age, I do believe. And he would have helped his parents farm crops and raise animals. And it's here that I want to give you 5 tips. Tip number 1. If you're serious about van travel, my suggestion is to write 5 things on paper that are holding you back from getting your camper van. Prioritize that list and take action on the most easiest item to retire from that list, working your way up to the most difficult so you can get things underway. Take action this month. Tip number 2, set a date for a purchase decision. The paralysis of analysis will kill most dreams, and from my personal experience, getting it in motion, your plan, causes it to happen. Tip number 3, if you already have your van, write down where and when is your next trip to check off a bucket list item. I just recently have departed from Nashville, Tennessee, having checked off a bucket list item to fly in a World War II Warbird bomber. I flew for a half hour over Nashville downtown in a B-17 Flying Fortress. It was amazing. I'll never forget that day. Only because of a camper van would I do that, and only because I had it on a bucket list did that actually happen. So again, where's the place and time for your next big trip to check off a bucket list item? Number 4, practice minimalism. Do not buy a bunch of stuff for your camper van. Take things from your existing house and think about items having to have 2 purposes. Yes, it's super important for things to have 2 purposes. And then start applying minimalism in your own life in terms of getting rid of stuff. Because in a camper van, you're not going to have a lot of room for everything you think you need. In fact, you don't need most of what you think you need. That's been my experience. And the number 1 thing I would suggest is, if you got your van or you're just within a month or 2 of getting it, get a Harvest Host membership. Get the Boondocker Welcome Package and the Golf Package. You're all in for about $225 a year to access nearly 9,000 places you can stay. What I think is the coolest thing about Harvest Host, Boondocker Welcome, is it takes you to places you wouldn't go, which is the whole point of the camper van experience. I recently just visited Elizabethtown, Kentucky, because there's a winery there. I discovered all kinds of small town history, had some great memories. Thank you, Harvest Host. And you can go to my website, GoSmallLiveLarge.com, click on the More tab, save 15% off of your Harvest Host membership. And I make a few bucks, I sure do appreciate that. This is the Lincoln Tavern, again, established in 1933. Wouldn't that have been cool to have a cerveza in the Lincoln Tavern, I don't know, in the 50s or something? So I hope you enjoyed that video. After learning about the birthplace and the boyhood homes of President Lincoln, and helping you get a better grasp on how my journey started, where am I at today, and what would I change. Now we're going to go explore Bardstown, Kentucky. Aging since 1780. This is the bourbon capital of the world. It's about an hour kind of southeast of Louisville, Kentucky. And I just love these kind of small towns. There's so many fun things to do, taste, and great folks to meet. Until we see you soon, I wish you to journey on, and peace be with you. See you later.